Nobody from the Rec and Parks Advisory Board.
Okay.
Not yet.
No idea.
1 minute?
Cheryl, I didn't
No, I mean, it's a favorite day. See, I knew you were being open.
Good morning, and welcome to the 78th Annual Rockville Memorial Day Ceremony. I'm Tim Chestnut. I'm Tim Chestnut, the Director of Recreation and Parks for the City of Rockville. Your hosts today are Rockville Mayor Bridget Donald Newton and Council members Monique Ashton, Beryl Feinberg, Dr. David Miles, and Councilman Mark Bashela. I want to thank the Rockville Concert Band, directed by music director Dr. Juan Galeski. And the Rockville Chorus, directed by Linda Gerritsen, for their beautiful and inspirational performances. Here to share some thoughts and observations with you about the significance of this holiday, both locally and nationally, it is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce your mayor, the Mayor of Rockville, Bridget Donald Newton.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome, everybody. Welcome to the 78th Annual Rockville Memorial Day Ceremony. On behalf of our council, staff, and community, thank you for being here to honor and remember those who gave their all, the ultimate sacrifice and service to our country. As we navigate our way through the third year of a pandemic, it would be easy to let traditions such as Rockville's Memorial Day ceremony and parade slip away, passing from our collective consciousness as a relic of the past, of the times prior to the pandemic. But these 2 years have taught us that traditions such as this one, 78 years strong, are way too important to just let disappear. They unify us, they give us perspective, they reinforce resolve, and renew our sense of purpose. This Memorial Day tradition binds us as a community and helps us to fulfill our sacred obligation to honor those who laid down their lives in the name of freedom. Freedom to live peacefully together. Freedom to speak, and with that comes listening. Freedom to have our own thoughts, and with that comes the obligation to speak the truth. Yesterday, Fred and I went down to the mall to see the Poppy exhibit. After a 2-year hiatus, the USAA Poppy Wall of Honor returned to the National Mall, and it was an amazingly beautiful tribute to our fallen service members. The wall commemorates the more than 645,000 U.S. service members who lost their lives fighting for our country since World War I. And there are 645,000 handmade poppies honoring them in this temporary installation. Most of you know the poem In Flanders Fields, written by Canadian doctor Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae, to honor his fallen comrades after a wicked battle during World War I. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our space, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up your quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold on high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields. The United States lost 116,000 men in World War I, 26,277 in the Battle of Argonne Forest alone, almost half the nation's combat deaths for the entirety of that war. Also during World War I, and pertinent to our situation today, the U.S. lost more military personnel to disease than to combat, mostly due to the 1918 influenza pandemic. During World War II, 405,000 lives were lost. 72,722 U.S. service members remain unaccounted for as of 2019 from World War II. More than 54,000 American lives were lost in the Korean War, a war that lasted 38 months. And on a sunny day, the 19 statues of the Korean War Memorial cast reflections on the granite wall, creating 38 total images. 7,544 members of the U.S. military who served in the Korean War remain unaccounted for as of April of this year. Of the more than 58,000 lives lost in Vietnam, more than 900 men died on their first day of combat. More than 1,400 died on their scheduled day of departure. 120 men who are named on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial listed a country other than the United States as their birthplace. And almost 1,600 remain still unaccounted for from this war. More than 383 lives were lost during 1990 to 1991 in Desert Shield and Desert Storm. Out of nearly 695,000 deployed service members, the ratio of 1 death per 1,800 is the lowest of any of America's wars. And in the global war on terror, which began in 2001, with the bombing of the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and the attempted crash into the U.S. Congress, more than 7,000 lives have been lost. American lives were also lost in the Civil War in El Salvador, Grenada, Libya, the USS Stark, Panama, Operation Provide Comfort, Somalia, Haiti, Colombia's drug war, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Kosovo, and the USS Cole. Last year, after 2 decades, the United States ended military operations in Afghanistan. The sacrifices of our men and women and their families are unimaginable. But if we are to learn anything, They must be remembered. The poppy flower was first worn in 1918 as a symbol of remembrance by an American teacher named Moina Bell Mash, who became known as the Poppy Lady. Inspired by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae's 1915 poem In Flanders Fields, she wrote a poem called We Shall Keep the Faith. O you who sleep in Flanders fields, sleep sweet to rise anew. We caught the torch you threw, and holding high, we keep the faith with all who died. We cherish, too, the poppy red that grows on fields where valor led. It seems to signal to the skies that blood of heroes never dies, but lends a luster to the red of the flower that blooms above the dead in poppy fields. And now the torch and poppy red we wear in honor of our dead. Fear not that ye have died for naught. We'll teach the lessons that ye wrought in Flanders fields. This may seem like a history lesson, and maybe you didn't come here for one today, but I believe that it's more important today than ever that we think about the human cost of war, the massive number of sacrifices so that we could live the lives that we are leading. Our fathers and brothers and mothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, friends and neighbors fought to keep America free. They fought for equal rights for every man, woman, and child. They fought for the future of America. Let's not forget that. Please, let's come together and work through our differences, break bread, and talk with each other. As the Reverend Barry Moultrie of Mount Calvary Baptist Church said at our vigil on Thursday, please, can we just learn to love each other? Today, the Rockville City Council wears the poppy pin, and we all stand together with you who have caught the torch and will carry on. We are here because they answered the call. We gave some, they gave all. We have many veterans here with us today, and I'd like to recognize you and the sacrifices that you have made in answering the call and protecting our freedom. If you served our country, please stand or wave and let us say thank you for your service. Thank you all for your service. And thank you who are here today for joining with us, and may God bless the United States of America. Next, we are honored to have the Rockville City Police Honor Guard. They will present our nation's colors. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of colors. Would everyone please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. It is now my distinct honor to welcome the Reverend Jane Wood from St. Paul United Methodist Church in Chevy Chase. Reverend Wood will lead us in the invocation.
I am also the daughter of the parade founder, William Bill Wood. Let us have a moment of silence. God of the universe, on this 78th Memorial Day celebration, we pause to honor and remember the bravery and ultimate sacrifice of so many men and women throughout our American history. Comfort those families whose loved ones made the ultimate sacrifice. Sweet holy mystery of love, honor our prayer according to thy will. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Wood, and will you please be seated? It is now my honor and pleasure to welcome our dignitaries and special guests. Councilmember Monique Ashton, Councilmember Beryl Feinberg, Councilmember David Miles, Councilmember Mark Pershela, Director of Recreation and Parks Tim Chestnut, United States Senator Chris Van Hollen would be with us today, but he is still recuperating, so we gave him a pass. State Delegate Kumar Barve, State Delegate Jim Gilchrist, State Delegate Julie Polakovich-Carr, Montgomery County Executive Mark Elrich, Montgomery Council President Gabe Albernaz, Montgomery County Councilmember Evan Glass, and Montgomery County Councilmember and our District Representative Sidney Katz, Commander of the American Legion Post 86, Robert Hebron. And joining us shortly will be Master of Ceremonies, Dan DeFonso. Did I miss anybody? I'm going to do you next. All right. It is now my distinct honor and privilege to welcome Lieutenant Colonel Jamie Espinoza. Lieutenant Colonel Espinoza is an Air Force reservist who serves as the Staff Judge Advocate at the 514th Air Mobility Wing, Joint Base McGuire-Dix, Lakenhurst in New Jersey. The 514th is an associate unit that works side by side with the active duty 305th Air Mobility Wing to fly and maintain their KC-10A extenders and C-17 Globemaster 3s. Lieutenant Colonel Espinoza leads an office of 3 attorneys and 4 paralegals in supporting 17 commanders and the legal needs of over 2,200 reserve citizen airmen. Lieutenant Colonel Espinoza received a direct commission as an Air Force Judge Advocate in November of 2007 and entered active duty in January 2008. While on active duty, he practiced in every area of base-level legal practice. In 2009, in support of Task Force 134, he deployed to Baghdad, Iraq, where he prosecuted terrorist detainees in the Central Criminal Court of Iraq. In June of 2012, he separated from active duty and joined the Air Force Reserve. During his reserve career, he has served as an individual mobilization augmentee and as a traditionalist reservist. He has had assignments in active duty and reserve units and on the Joint Staff. He is admitted to practice law before the District of Columbia Court of Appeals and the United States Court of Appeals for the Armed Forces. Throughout his career, he received twice each the Meritorious Service Medal, Joint Service Commendation Medal, and Air Force Commendation Medal. In his civilian capacity, Lieutenant Colonel Espinoza earned a Master's of Public Administration from the University of Baltimore and a Master's Certificate in Project Management from George Washington University. He works for the Food and Drug Administration. Lieutenant Colonel Espinoza served for almost 7 years on the city's Ethics Commission and is now a member of our Community Policing Advisory Board. He's a 10-year resident of the city of Rockville, where he lives with his wife, Kimberly, and daughter, Adela. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to our Grand Marshal, Lieutenant Colonel Espinoza.
I would like to begin by thanking Mayor Newton, the council members, city staff, and other distinguished guests for allowing me to speak here today. It has been a long couple of years that all of us have been living through, and I share everyone's hope that we have better days ahead. As we gather on this beautiful day to enjoy ourselves and to make up for the time lost in the last 2 years, we look forward to spending time with loved ones and friends who we may not have seen for some time. And we each carve out the time on this Memorial Day to meet to remember together those men and women who have given their lives in service of our nation. I would like to take a few minutes to tell you what Memorial Day means to me. May 19th, 2009 fell on my birthday. I was on active duty at the time, and I was lucky to be stationed at Hickam Air Force Base in Honolulu, Hawaii. Since my birthday fell on a weekday, my wife and I had planned on celebrating it that coming weekend. It was a significant weekend for us, as it was going to be one of the last weekends we had together before I left for deployment to Iraq. The next day, May 20th, 2009, I remember when word leaked that an officer from our base had been killed in Afghanistan. We had many personnel from our base deployed to that country at the time, and everyone on base tried to prepare themselves for the official news of who had been killed. Was it one of my friends or colleagues who had died is all I could think about. A day or two later, the news broke that First Lieutenant Rosalind Lippman Schulte, or Roz as she was known to her friends, had been the officer killed by a roadside bomb. Roz was an intelligence officer who was in Afghanistan teaching the Afghani military on how to gather and interpret intelligence. I did not know Roz. I never met her. Though we were similar in age and rank, we had different military occupations, and we ran in a different circle of friends on base. However, because she was a fellow airman, a few days later I, along with the entire base, went to a memorial held for her. I found out a lot about Roz during that memorial. She was from St. Louis, Missouri. She had gone to private school where she excelled at Model UN and was an All-American lacrosse player who had been the captain of her high school lacrosse team and had won the state championship. While she likely could have attended any school, she chose to attend the Air Force Academy, where she also captained the lacrosse team and graduated at the top of her class. She had volunteered for her deployment to Afghanistan, where, while she worked long hours, she still managed to spend 3 hours a day on her off time organizing a charity for Afghan refugees. Roz's boyfriend, an Air Force captain, revealed later that he had planned on proposing marriage to her when she returned from her deployment. Roz left behind parents and siblings. Everyone who spoke at her memorial talked about how she was a shining light who definitely had a promising career ahead of her. Roz was laid to rest on May 25th, 2009. That day happened to fall on Memorial Day that year. If she was with us today, First Lieutenant Schulte would be 38 years old. She would likely be married, have a family, and would certainly have a successful career and be a leader in her community. I tell you Lieutenant Schulte's story, even though I did not know her, because often on Memorial Day, speakers tend not to talk about people, but rather they focus on abstract concepts such as patriotism, honor, heroism, and selfless sacrifice. While those words and sentiments are appropriate and deserved, especially as it relates to Lieutenant Schulte, I often worry that they may unintentionally obscure the fact that the millions of men and women who have died in American wars and conflicts, either here on our soil or in foreign lands, whether they volunteered or were drafted, these were all people, often young people, whose promising lives were cut short by war for us. So as you enjoy this beautiful weather and today's festivities, I ask you to spend some time thinking about what Roz and all the service members like her have lost in service to our nation, in service to us. From the patriot who starved through the winter at Valley Forge, to the soldier who fell at the Antietam cornfields, the Marine or sailor who took their last breaths during the Battle of Okinawa, the platoon ambushed in the jungles of Vietnam, to the young man or woman who died on the streets of Baghdad or in the mountains of Afghanistan, let us mourn them and everything they lost and never had a chance to experience. Let us honor their memories, and let us strive to live up to what each of us owes them each and every day of our own lives. Thank you. God bless America, and God bless our troops.
Lieutenant Colonel Espinoza, Jamie, thank you for your service to our country and our city. We are honored, truly honored to have you as our Memorial Day Grand Marshal. Thank you. Now will you all please rise for the national anthem, which will be performed by the Rockville Concert Band and the Rockville Chorus. Thank you to members of the Rockville Concert Band and the Rockville Chorus. Thank you very much. I'd now like to introduce Robert Hebron, Commander of the American Legion, Post 86, who will announce the wreath-laying ceremony. Please stand.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and fellow dignitaries. American Legion, Post 86. Disabled American Veterans, Chapter 12. Washington, Rockville, Elks, Lodge 15. Members of the Wood family. American Legion Auxiliary Unit 86. Rockville Sister City Corporation. Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 641. Sons of the American Legion, Squadron 86. Military Officers Association of America, Montgomery County. Daughters of the American Revolution.
Thank you. Do they know? Where's Tab? Thank you to Mr. Jose Garcia of the Rockville Concert Band for playing taps. Please remain standing for the benediction by the Reverend Jane Wood.
Now may the God of the universe, the Alpha and Omega, grant us mercy, love, and peace. Go now and love thy neighbor as thyself.
You may be seated. Thank you for taking part in the 78th Memorial Day ceremony. The parade will kick off up the street at 10:30 in the morning, and as a special treat while you wait, please enjoy the music of our very own Rockville Concert Band. Thank you all for being here today.